So, everyone on the call, hello, and a very good evening to all of you all. Glad and excited to see you all here on the evening before the long weekend. Rashmi, just to give you a heads up or something, we have the long weekend. Tomorrow is Friday, is holiday on the India side, and long weekend starts. Really glad to see all of these people join us on the evening before the long weekend, and we are sure that these 60 minutes would be worthwhile. Before we begin with the actual agenda of this session, I would like to take a couple of minutes to talk about our Sitecore user group Nagpur. I'm pretty sure that everyone on this call knows what Sitecore user groups are, so I would spare those details, but I would definitely talk about how Sitecore user group Nagpur had started. So it all began last year in the month of June 2023. The idea to start a user group was planted. We deliberated a bit, but due to some reason, we couldn't bring it to fruition then. However, this thought was reignited after we attended SUGCon India 2023, looking at the depth and breadth of the Sitecore community here in India, and knowing that there's so much more to explore, to be talked about, and can be shared with the like-minded individuals of our Sitecore community. Four colleagues from Profession set about to start this user group. These four colleagues are Mahima Patel, Sumit Salpekar, Vikrant Punwatkar, and of course myself, Neha Pasi. We launched Sitecore User Group Nagpur in the month of October last year, 2023. And as we all know that good things take time and nothing comes easy, we took our own sweet time to plan our inaugural session. So after a lot of meetings, plannings, and rain checks even, we present to you our very first session in the new year of 2024. And this event is supported by Proficient. With this, we are thrilled to introduce our speaker for the first webinar, Beyond the Basics Sitecore CDP and Personalized Use Cases for Maximum Impact. And our speaker for the day is Rashmy Patwari, who leads the engagement cloud space at the Global Center of Excellence at Avanade. She has over 2 decades of experience as a .NET solution architect in diverse industry domains. Rashmi has been recognized 2 times as Sitecore MVP for her active involvement and contributions to the community. Rashmi, I welcome you on behalf of the entire Sitecore user group Nagpur. So, yes, we welcome you, and I hope that you're all set to begin your insightful session on CDP and Personalize, wherein we'll be talking about these two products beyond their basics. Before I pass it on to you, Rashmi, a small note for our attendees that Rashmi would be glad and open to answer all of your questions at the end of the session. So, if you have any questions, please put it in the chat window. Also, if you have something to add to the conversation, like to the topic in discussion, you know where to put it, the chat window again. With this, Rashmi, I hand it over to you. Let's begin.
Thank you, Neha. That was a super introduction, and I'm really overwhelmed and a bit nervous right now because you see, because I'm presenting. So I'm literally like the first presenter for your brand newly minted user group. So this is really awesome. Let me try some technical things here. Try to present in Teams. Hopefully it will work. Never tried at an external Teams. Ah, okay, that would work, I think. Yeah, Teams is always a challenge. Never know if it will cooperate or not. I think you all
It
see
will.
this, right?
We've done our due diligence of testing how it works with an external speaker, so you should be good to go. Now, all of us
Okay.
would turn off your videos to give the spotlight to you, and the stage is all yours. Go
All
ahead.
right. Okay. I don't want to be really largely seen on the screen, so I'll turn off my camera as well. So let's get started with this. Right. Okay. So about myself, Neha has just given enough introduction so that I will spare that. I just get to the our topic itself. So what we are going to do today is, yeah, I mean, y'all should be very well aware of the new engagement cloud space of Sitecore. So basically, the whole composable stack, and then where engagement cloud fits. and what are the products that are being offered from Engagement Cloud. We'll go into the details, but just as a good point to start would be so Sitecore CDP and Personalize are the products from the Engagement Cloud space, and they fit very well in the composable stack. We'll go into the details in a bit in one of the slides. So we will talk about that. What are these products about? What can we do with them on a very high level? But what I want to really go in depth today is the different kinds of use cases. So we've been doing a lot of what should I say, study around. You got a great tool in hand, but what do you do with it, right? It's always, most times we are influenced by clients wanting to do this, but since the whole composable stack itself is pretty new for that matter. Not the whole technical aspect of it, but basically Sitecore's composable stack has been here for a little more than 3 years now. And we often run into discussions with clients where the clients come to us as partners and they ask us, what can we do with this? So we heard this, we heard that. Clients also come to the symposiums and user group conferences. So they have they get bombarded with a lot of information and they want to know what can we do with the tools. So let's go into some of the details so that we are better equipped to tell our clients rather than saying that, okay, the tool can do this and that. We can clearly say, okay, here are your use cases, and these are the different ways that you can make sense by your offerings to your customers. So this is how your customer's life can be transformed, or let's just use some marketing words here. So you can, it's a transformational. We'll give you those great experiences. But it's all all said and done. It's still. I just want to get into the details of what are the different kinds of use cases, how are they classified, and what comes first, what is the maturity model over there. So let's talk about those things. Then we will, I do have a demo. I've been using it most of last year. It's pretty basic. I'm not pretty proud of the demo itself, but it'll give you a good introduction as to the different aspects of the product, CDP and Personalize, and just how do we connect the dots and get you some experience out there. So yeah, so that's the start of the topic. So like I said, these are all the things that we're going to talk about. The use cases, the demo itself, and I'll give you some references where to go from there. Okay, a bit of history over here. So March of 2021, Sitecore acquired Boxever. So Boxever is the original product, which is now rebranded as CDP, and basically one product being rebranded as CDP and Personalized, two different products. So that's so Sitecore basically had the business goal of it saw that instead of trying to make it more composable, because sometimes customers do not depending on the size of business and the goals that they want to go and their maturity level in terms of personalization, they may not have a lot of CDP customer data, but they really want to enable some personalization. They want to start with personalization, and then they would want to go and add, once their business matures, then they will have some customer data, maybe integrated from other systems like their CRM systems and other external systems into, they want to connect different systems in their organization and give customers a more end-to-end or rather a holistic experience. So that's when CDP comes in. So Sitecore sees the potential in having them as separate products rather than one, so that the customers have the option of licensing just what they need and enable just what they need. So that was the idea. At that time, it seemed very odd when this announcement came in because we were still on XP, and most of our clients are still on XP, XM, probably. The whole big question was why? What is the whole purpose of having this new SaaS-based, cloud-based experience platform when we already have everything bundled together in the XP. I mean, we have XConnect and people who are familiar with enabling experiences using XDB and XConnect. So that was the thing. But then once all the other acquisitions happened with Order Cloud and the whole composable stack was put together, it seems now it seems definitely the goal is clear, and this is so it fits very well in the composable stack for customers both who are still on XP and XM and who have moved to XM Cloud and other composable products. So that's how it all started, and so today where we are is so basically Box, although we acquired, I mean, although the original artifacts and the code is still Boxever. So Sitecore, we do have a lot of, we in the sense like Sitecore did a lot of modifications and enhancements and upgrades to the whole product as a product. And then now we don't speak, I'll come into the technical details in a bit, but also just to understand. So we use new SDKs and ways of connection now. And although the existing ones like Boxever library is still supported, but ideally we should be moving on to the newer Engage SDK library. I mean, if you've never started before, then Engage SDK library is the starting point. The documentations will lead you just there. But just for others who have tinkered around a bit with the Boxever library, since I think it may not be it won't be supported any longer after March of 2023, I suppose. So it's been nearly a year, and now we should really upgrade to the Engage SDK. There are steps in the documentation to do that, and yeah, so I mean that's something on the roadmap we should think for our clients. All right. I mean, feel free to jump in. Let's keep it as interactive as possible. If you please, I mean, you don't want to wait till the end. I'm totally okay. If you want to ask any questions, that'll give me a break to have a sip of water. So yeah, feel free to do that. All right. Here. So how are these products split? So I spoke about the acquisition, and there was one product before, and then it's so the purpose for doing the split. So I might have a better diagram, but if you can see this very well, so basically one product, the top one is CDP, where, like I said, based on where you are in the business goals and where how mature your customers are in experiences and basically in their customer data. So you might want to have a CDP as well. So with CDP, it is mostly, you do not get the personalization package of it. So what that means is you can start collecting or integrating your customer data into one source of truth, as we call it. So basically everything is, each one of your customers will have one single record in your system, like some of us database people will. So basically we don't have to go through the trouble of merging different customer references, emails. Everything is like one source of truth. We can see that on the CDP portal in a bit. So that will give us an ability to integrate and give end-to-end solutions, as we will see in some of the use cases. Now, what we can also do with having just a CDP is, once we have that single source of customer information or a record for all your for your entire user base, then we can enable some external. So we can basically sync. It's called audience sync. So we can sync that data to all your channels. So be it mobile kiosks, all your other headless or headful applications. So that's the audience sync. But what we are not doing there is we are not actually using any of the personalization experiences and all that from the portal itself. So it's an external. So we will have to engage in if we already have some cool widgets and gadgets which we want to use the customer data to enable the experiences. But it's basically outside the system. It's not part of the CDP portal, but you'll be doing it in your applications using that one customer picture. When you have Personalize, the way it changes is you need not have CDP. So Personalize is essentially a very lean, mean CDP sitting as part of the system. So like you can see in the image below, so what you get is you do get a CDP, but you also, but what you don't get is you don't get the ability to integrate with other systems and get a batch or more like sync of data from your, if you have very large data lakes or databases. So you do not have the ability to have all of that data because it's a very lean, mean CDP system. You can think of it as like a small database, which is just enough to show you, keep your customer profiles for a period of time. I think it is 90 days. And then you lose that data. So basically, it's just like more for real time activation of experiences, but you do not have the ability to store large amounts of customer data for endless period of time. So that's the difference between the two products as we stand today. Okay, so here's how it all looks. So I may use this highlighter. So if I draw a line in between, everything what is on for my left side of the line is literally the data part of it, and everything on the right side of the line is the experiences part of it. So what we can also see here is it's not just collecting data and activating experiences in the system, but we do have the ability of engaging with other machine language models, AI, Gen AI now, and we can actually keep refining the information that we have and keep making decisions based on the inputs that we get from external systems as well. So this is like a one engine which helps us combine both. Combine the data, make sense out of it, and push out experiences onto all the different channels that we have. Okay, so we've all experienced this in some way or the other. It's not like experiences have always been there. It's just a new way or a composable way of doing it with Sitecore that's enabled with these two products. So yeah, I mean, just we've seen vendors and sites chasing us for going back to our cart. You've left something there, kind of thing. So that's an experience. Then there are like different. You try to make some travel plans and you don't complete your transaction. They chase you for that. Depending on your geography, you will get personalized. I mean, it's everywhere, right? I mean, you open any of our apps and channels and websites, and it's basically we are experiencing it more and more as we go on. Then there are voice systems integrated as well, and then and pretty much we've all had these kind of experiences. All right, so like I said, we spoke about the different stack. So this is one picture which kind of brings it all together, the different products of Sitecore, not in the hexagonal box, but these are all the different. I mean, if you're used to layered understanding architectures in a layered manner, then this is a good picture to understand that. So basically, we all know XP, XM. So like I said, we did have yeah, I mean, XP and XM are still there. They are going to be there for a very long time, and it's not the idea of phasing them out, but it is the idea of bringing in something new for a different set of customer base. So we do have past products inside Sitecore. And now we have the SaaS products as well. So that's how we have XM, XP, and then like I said, we do have XDB and XConnect as well. But the better way, or rather the encouraged way, would be to get in at least the composable products of CDP and Personalize and connect them out and use your existing XP or XM to enable experiences. So all that is possible. We don't have to go 100% SaaS to get CDP and personalized experiences. We can do it. We can enable them on the XP and XM's websites as well. So here's where in the experience stack of the product line is where I'm doing this. Pretty much messing this up with the highlighter. Anyways, sorry. So yeah, here's where in the experience stack we do have the CDP and the personalized products. We do have Sitecore search as well, which is gaining a lot of popularity, and that's another topic to kind of discuss and talk about. So this is and then we do have Sitecore Send, which is mostly used for marketing automation. All of these also exist, used to be part of the XDP and the XConnect package before. All right, so let's talk about use cases. So what I've done here is I've tried to classify these use cases. I've written some blogs about this just the end of, I think they all came out in December 23. So I'll have links in the end. You can go back and read. There's some interesting stories just for each of these use cases. I'll not go into the stories part of it now, but let's just look at how we can classify them based on basically just some classification. So there are four different kinds of classification according to me. There is content based, then there is customer journey based, engagement based, and segmentation. So depending on okay, again, which of these products do we need for each of these classifications? We can use both, and we may be okay, all right, to use just Personalize or CDP for that matter. So let's see into each of these segments and see what kind of use cases come out of that. So, and I have deliberately put those chevrons facing down because what I intend to, I don't know if it's pretty clear or not, but basically the lowest like segmentation based ones would be pretty much like if you want to like quickly enable some personalization for your client, you might want to start at the content ones, because the more lower you go in that chain, it will get more complicated. You will need more customer data to enable those kind of those experiences. So that's basically because when it comes to segmentation, that's when you will start needing a lot of your customer data to get that holistic picture. Because unless systems are connected, unless you have historical data, which you might be collecting which your customers are collecting over a period of time, and unless you may not get that good picture of your customer in a holistic way, in a 360-degree way. So that's when segmentation would be a little difficult at that point. So that's when you will certainly need. So as you go down that chain, you will start needing more and more customer data, and then that's when the decision would be clear to switch on or buy CDP as well and start integrating these systems, because you want to get mature in your offerings to in terms of experiences. So that's a basic classification. Let's go into a bit of detail into what are the different kinds of basically so when it comes to content-based personalization, so there are different things over there. I just put in some notes over there just for reading them out, but I can just talk through them as well. So different types of content-based personalization. So here we are only dealing with pretty much at a pretty high level. You want to give some really cool insights or experiences to your customers. You will still need, some of these will may not need CDP, but it's the first level of experiences or first level of use cases which you can quickly enable for your customers. It does not need a lot of these are at least like the minimal set that you should think of enabling, because that's where the whole and then starting here you can move on to the more mature ones. So location based, we've all seen this here, everything localization, localized offers, and basically like language and cultural. So you want to basically have give your customers, you don't want to give them show them winter gear in summer kind of thing, and you do not want to show them show. I mean, I don't want to. I mean, depending on what local festivals or events are there, this one you want to show your content according to that. So that's pretty much touching the cultural context and the local location based context of personalization. Device based, again, pretty I mean, self explanatory, we have seen it. So here what I intend to say, I mean, add over here is, so basically you want to have that consistent messaging, which is very important, because you do not want your, when you pick up your cell phone, you see different offers, and say same thing with the website is showing something else altogether. There's a 10% discount on the website, the cell phone doesn't talk about it. So these kind of conflicting or more like detrimental messages is something that we want to avoid, and so consistent messaging becomes very I mean, it's basically that's something we would certainly want to look into when we're looking to personalize the experiences. Again, optimizing content also falls in the same line, where you do not want your information to be kind of redundant, outdated, and you want it to be consistent across different devices. You do not want customers to get super confused when it's the same site that they're accessing, and they it's still says something else elsewhere, like I just said about discounts again. So reference sources, this is basically based on what the customer has been searching on your website. So you want to kind of keep some memory of those searches and have make their job easy. I mean, it's not always about selling, right? I mean, you want to actually make some experience really matter to the customers and make their day-to-day life a bit easier. So in referral sources, so basically whatever emails gets sent out, or outbound email campaigns, and so it has to mean something to the customer. So that's when you keep some track of what they are searching. Like a customer comes in, looks for buys a pair of socks or shoes, let's say shoes for that matter, and then next time the customer comes back, that the customer has purchased. I mean, your system or your CDP should quickly, I mean, you need to make some decisions based on the data that you've got, that the purchase history of the customer, or even may not have purchased, but may be looking for something. But then the customer revisits, and then you can, based on the search that has happened previously, you can give them some dynamic discounts based on, that there are some offers. If you have any offers going on in the area of search, then you can enable those experiences. So that's something, again, outbound email context. So here again, I mean, this is particularly very useful when you want to make those and enable some automation, basically some product launch campaigns, which are again pretty relevant to the customer. If the customer has never, I mean, it's more like, you don't want to try to sell them something which they have never even looked for. Or and we do get a lot of such spam, but it's not something that we all want to experience, right? So that's about the reference sources. We'll look into in detail the next best offer, the related articles one. Here again, based on your browsing history, if article suggestions pop up automatically, like, okay, you may want to read this kind of thing, or if again you bought a coffee machine and you want to get products, product offers for coffee pods or coffee powder, or basically those are related offers. You're not selling them parts of a coffee machine, because obviously somebody who's bought a coffee machine may not need parts immediately, but related products in your offering, where it makes sense to the customer. I mean, they'll get it'll make their life easy, that okay, well, I mean, oh yeah, I mean, it's time to buy some coffee kind of thing. So that's that. We'll look into the demo. What I have for you today is around the related articles one, and we can take a look at that. All right. So coming down to the next segment about engagement-based personalization. I'm really not going to go into the stories of each of these. Like I said, I have links to the blogs. It's a good bedtime reading, so you can go over what exactly can be enabled for each of these personalization segments. So, but here, yeah, we again, you may, I mean, just in the previous example, I spoke about giving dynamic discounts based on what the customer has been searching. So the interesting point over here is it's not strictly classified that you enable one experience and that is that. So these use cases do have a good blend between them. So that's because I mean, they nicely blend into each other. So at a time, you may be enabling two or more of these use cases because they are somehow connected. So that's an interesting point. Here again, the same thing, time on users been hovering around your website, browsing pages, going over different products or articles, and then say they never visit again for a month, and and this is particularly useful in commerce scenarios wherein you have your data says that this customer is a very valued customer, more like an MVP customer, but the customer has not visited or bought anything in say a year's time. So it's time to send out some discounts or campaigns just to make sure that this customer has not pivoted or moved on to a different product altogether. So this is particularly, I mean, one example that I can say is like basically your network provider. So this is something every year around the same time people switch networks. Just sometimes they have bad experiences with their existing network, or they just want to switch over to a new one because the new one is giving some awesome discounts. So what about your loyalty to the existing network that you've been using for the last, say, maybe a couple of years? So that's when the product or your business is able to kind of relate to that customer history, and you have some more like categorization or segmentation of your customers. So that's when it will be really useful to you to use that data and change that and kind of avoid the churn of your customers to a new product altogether. Like I said, the more we are getting deeper into these levels of personalization, or so this is where you will start needing in-depth and more insights into your customer, and this is where you will start needing CDP. And here again, this is one more of those. Yeah, we already spoke about dynamic discounts, churn, optimizing renewals. So like I said, there is a blend between the use cases and all right. So the last one here would be customer segmentation. So here again, we will need here we got to be 100% sure as to what we are offering, because we are getting really personal over here. So in the sense that you're actually creating personas of your customer base. You're kind of giving them labels now. Okay, traveler, blog writer, or really serious persona. So you will need really good connected insights into your customer. Ideally all your data systems of the business should be connected. Your sales, your marketing, basically customer purchases. I mean that's just the commerce part of it. But even otherwise, yeah, I mean it will give you, if you are an educational business, then you will want to know have what exactly the customers or your students are interested in learning. So you create a personas for them, and you actually target based on their personas, and you offer them their offers based on their personas. So this is like serious business, and this is when you will need deep insights, maybe good machine learning algorithms to do those, to create those personas, and also to create specific segments for your customers. Like, how do you identify a VIP customer? It won't be just one factor, right? It will be like a dozens of factors which will give you that insight into your customer and create that segment for you. So here's where you in-depth knowledge of, in-depth knowledge of your customer is needed, and a lot many systems need to be integrated to create that picture. Again, going back to number 10 over here. So one thing I want to also highlight is the deeper you go into these personalization experiences, or enabling these personalizations, the higher your security has to be. So it's like inversely proportional over here. Now, for content, most times it is public domain information, like the location. You can, all websites have knowledge about the location and the IP address, and geography, or the demographics of your customer base, or the person who is logging into the system or accessing your website. So no big deal over there. If cookies are enabled, you do have customers are all right to they accept all cookies, and they do have they turn on their location services. You're good to go over there. You don't need a lot of the security is as good as your website has, and you don't have to do anything extra. But as you go down the path over there, like if you reach customer journey based, or you're trying to get segmentation or engagement, this is where you are involving a lot of external service data. And here's where your security becomes more, you got to work out mechanisms to basically have, secured, secure your CDP and personalize portals, or access to the portals. So it won't be, so that's where, so it's altogether different topic. I have some blogs around that. I put them in the links as well. Yeah, so that's something that that is of consideration. Also, Dylan Young from Sitecore, he writes pretty, a lot of good stuff in the engagement cloud space. So he's kind of specializes that area, and he has written some really insightful. I think it's a pretty recent article as well from him. So basically, yeah, Dylan writes great stuff on enabling and thinking about good secured systems when it comes to maintain. Because this is, you're dealing with sensitive customer data over here, so you it's not as easy as just switching on, connecting to AI and start sending it out. So there has to, most organizations and partners like us, we do have really there are policies around all of that now. So that's something to be aware of as well. All right, so moving on, we have, so let's look at the demo. Yeah, all right, so I'll stop sharing here. Okay, so what I want to share today is, so let's look at how, I'll show you the demo first, and then we will go under the hood and see how all of that got enabled. So let me start new. So what I've used here is the, the Sitecore's demo site, the Play Summit one. So I've used the non-XM Cloud, the Edge one, and enabled some experience which uses the which basically enables the next best offer use case. And here's where you are. So nothing great happening here, because I want to identify myself as a, so right now I'm anonymous, so that's why this message, which doesn't make sense and it is broken. So let me identify myself as this. And I'll set my language to, that's my preferred language, not my local language. So I'll do that. I'll send an event. So basically, there's no login for this website, so I have to do this, use one of the experiences to enable, basically identify myself to the website. And let's see what happens if all goes well. Okay. So you saw that rubbish welcome banner got changed to my preferred language. So that's something we need to look under the hood. And also when let me go to this page over here. Okay, moment of truth. Let me refresh. There. So that's the, so basically what's happening here is in the form that I filled to kind of identify myself to the system, I have actually said, I mean, this is, so basically it's what I've done over here to create this experience is I have integrated AI in the backend. So there's OpenAI as well, and there is Image AI. So the Image AI part, I've used it to actually, basically get an image, my favorite image, and so the customer's favorite image in this case, and basically tailor this pop-up to show some article to the customer on the website. So here, so the customer, based on the customer's interest, and doing some image AI analysis in the backend, I have determined that this customer is an outdoorsy kind of a customer, likes to be enthusiastic about knowing more about outdoor sports. So I have a lot of articles on this website, which I want to basically tailor to the customer's interests over here. So rather than showing, pretty much everything out there. So here, so there's a particular article about mountain biking park, which so I think that the customer might be interested in reading about this. So that's the experience. Let me try a different customer. Okay, that's still me. Yeah, the event has been sent, and I'll refresh this page. Okay. So this is again using OpenAI in the backend, doing some language translation, and basically because Fred has said that his preferred language is French, you get the welcome message in French. What else will happen over here with the other experience is this. Okay, so here Fred has suggested an image which is probably pretty geeky. So that's the reason he gets an article suggestion based on his interest, and that would be something about a gadget. So here's, not very proud of this demo, like I said, but it's something useful for us to understand what exactly, just to basically tailor the experience based on the customer data or the customer data that you have taken. In this case, CDP is involved because I do
need the customer to input their preferences, in this case, the language as well as the image. So what happens, so how is this all coming together? So in the backend, that's my sandbox for CDP. And so let's look at the guests over here. So here are the two guests, like you can see from the top of the list over here. So Fred Rose and myself, are this email ID over here, are identified as customers. And if and anybody anonymous would be anonymous. So for instance, we have, so basically CDP, I mean, tracks everything. The moment you basically give CDP information that you need to track this, so the website has established integrated with CDP using something called point of sale. So I can show you. So basically, we'll go back to the presentation and then I can show you the plumbing blocks over there. So here we have different, so as you can see, it's not at all complicated. You have just two kinds of people. One, anybody who visits, and the moment you start having some information, maybe an email ID, maybe a reference, maybe visited twice, then that particular visitor becomes a customer. So in here, if you look at the customer's properties, so we have, like I said, preferred language. That's one of the additional details that we have about the customer. And favorite image is a custom field, which I had, taken as an input from the website. And here the customer has volunteered to suggest that that's his favorite image or her favorite image. So that's what we got as guest information. Now, how do we use this information? I'll talk about the application plumbing in a bit, but let's just complete this chain of thought. So this information, so basically we can create so we can create templates for offer. So that would be that. Okay, let me just sort it by myself. Really. Okay, may not be. I don't have much here. Okay, let's look at offers. Strange, I'm not seeing anything here. We do have used templates over there. Okay, this one. Okay, so that's the template I created, because if you remember on the, go back in there. So that little thing that comes there, like so I want to set some URL that is custom to based on the customer's interest, and I also want to update this picture to something that the customer would like to see, or more in line with the customer's preferred choices. So that's the reason I created this template as an offer template, and based on this offer template, you can create a number of offers when you know that every one of your offers are going to certainly have these 4 attributes. So you can create offer. I think I might have, for some reason, this is not sorting with me. Okay, it's weird. Anyway, let me see. Yeah, here. So here, these are the fields that you saw. This is all hard coded at the moment, but you can you can do you can code, and you can actually fill in these fields on the fly as well. So what's happening here is, okay, although these are fixed, how do we get to choose which offer based on the customer's interest? So that's happening as part of decisioning. So over here, let's look at, so I have 2 different decision models. One is the one that shows up that corner pop-up, and then there is this language translation one as well. So let's look at the corner pop-up one. It's pretty simple. We have customer data. We extract the image URL, hardly any code written to do that. Just get it from the customer data. So the portal itself is pretty intuitive for us to build. Even while coding, you can actually pull up some customer data, customer select a guest and then see what all fields are available. It's very easy for us to copy a particular field if I want to just want to make a reference to this. So I do have the path as a JavaScript. Also, you don't have to figure out, whether it is which part of the extension or what do I look for if I want the image URL. You get it all from this. It's pretty cool for us to even like intuitively code an experience. Okay, so going back to the thing over here, then over here, like I said, I've used Image AI. So there is the Azure Image AI service. Use that, which is actually pulling out all the tags for me. So I'm only interested in the tags, because what I want to do is this. So I pull out the tags. And if you look in the next best offer, it's pretty thing like, if I see tags, my topmost tag is outdoor or adventure. So this is the AI part of it, wherein, so I'm not like hard coding. Okay, Fred Rose always gets geek offer, or somebody always gets an outdoor offer. But this is basically based on the top tags that get pulled out from their favorite images. I make this so I decide that this is the offer that's going to go to the person. We can test it all out right here, even before we make it officially an experience and put it live. So say, for instance, I do this back to so let's look at all the data. So like I said, this gives you this single view of your entire customer data. So everything is over here. You have seen, you have all the different identifiers. Like one of the identifiers I used was email, right? So that's here. So email is an identifier. Then you've got the image URL itself, that the favorite image, what the customer had set, different sessions that the customer has interacted with the system. This goes depending on what license you've got, CDP or Personalize. This maintains history up to a period of, I think, 90 days. It's just lots, because this particular email ID or reference I've been using for pretty much most of my demos now for a year. So that's why there's just too much information available. Every time an interaction has happened, all the events that I have clicked, everything is just stored as one. You can see that it's literally like 35,000 lines of data that's available for this, or not lines of data, but basically it's a lot of information about this customer. Okay, so let me choose this, and then if I run test canvas, okay, something has failed. I didn't expect that, but let's see what happened. Okay, this happens. This is some timeout exception now. Maybe my instance got timed out. Okay, there. So if you look in the execution, so all the 4 steps of the canvas got executed successfully. I do log out the the image. So that's the log, and here you can see the data that came out. So from that image, the topmost tag was outdoor. So that's what I inferred. So this is what I used to make my decision to give to program the offer accordingly. So that's the Vision AI's response. And similarly, you get steps of each of the, so that's the tag I was interested in. And each step of the process, you see the result over here. So yeah, so you can test it out right here before even going live. And so, I mean, it's all documented information. So at a point of time, you can have only one decision model active, and once it has gone into production, there is no way to revert it back. You can archive it and create a new one. You can also create a copy of this as a new one, and then just archive this. So that's the process of creating these. So let's go into, so what's the difference between experiences and experiments? Experiments are, they look similar. It's pretty confusing for me, at least it was in the beginning. But now with newer documentation, and so these products are constantly evolving, right? I mean, this documentation, so it's always good to, even after a week, it's always good to go back to the documentation and look at what's going on, what's the latest stuff available on that. So with experiments, this gives us an ability to do, basically you can create experiments even on, yes, Neha.
A quick time check, Rashmi. We
Okay,
are just 2 minutes left from the decided time. I know we can extend a bit, but not too much. So if we can quickly move on to the important part, I believe, and because we would start losing audience after 2 or 3 minutes. So just
sure,
wanted
sure.
to say that. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I can just wrap it up. It's pretty much done at this point. And then so yeah, okay. Yeah, so let's look at the experience. So the NBO experience is the one that I've created for the corner pop-up. And here's where we're using the decision model. I have just tailored this targeting to just run on one page of the site. So if the site has, for the About Us page itself, and the site itself is connected to the thing using the point of sale. So we have points of sale, different ones created. So I think mine will be Play Summit. So I use this as the connection between the application and the CDP and personalized portal. In this case, since this is a sandbox, both the products are under the same hood. So yeah, this is what is all happening under the hood. I can go back and quickly wrap up. So here, yeah, so we've seen this basically suggested blogs. So based on what the users' interests are, you give them the available offers. How did we do this? In the CDP side of things, we used point of sale as a connection. Then there's guest data extension, which are all the extra fields of preferred choices that I've shown. And and the Personalize is actually using an AI connection and making the offers and using. So how does it? I mean, it's again other extra information. So basically, whoever is used to the XP way of or XP, they're familiar with XP, so you can understand that. So guest in a CDP is basically what we used to call as contact in XP. And like I said, everything is a guest. Everything is either a guest or a visitor or a customer in CDP. So we do not have those different facets anymore. Not facets, but basically different ways of calling the same customer data anymore. And there is no so there's no conversion. So it's basically once the customer interacts a bit, the visitor, they become a customer. So that's what we looked at today. And here are all the different links. So yeah, these are the articles which has more on the use cases. That's my blog. That's Dylan's blog, the person from Sitecore who writes extensively in the engagement cloud space, and the documentation, of course. There are pretty interesting SUGCon videos out there, pretty much especially the 2023 ones, which are pretty cool, explaining some great things you can do with the products. So yes, thank you a lot. Sorry about extending it beyond. I thought I didn't have enough content, and I just going to help myself. So yeah, I really appreciate your time, and I wish you all the best with your brand new user group. I think, yeah, we should hope to see you all again sometime, maybe later this year, if I have something new to share. Yeah, that'll be awesome.
Thank you, Rashmi, and sorry for making you rush in the end,
No,
but
no,
that was
perfectly all
indeed
right. No,
but
no,
that was
like you
in
can see.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like you can see, I was almost done. Yeah, I could go on, but yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, thank you.
All I can say that it was indeed an insightful session, like your explanation about the use cases and where these two products fit in the composable stack, like that quick revision of the entire stack of the experience layer that helped us. And I can say that as someone who has elementary level knowledge about these two products, I am leaving with a better understanding of CDP and Personalize after this session. Now we come
Okay.
to the exciting part of our session, which is the Q&A, and I see that there's just one question from a guest named Pawan. So Pawan is asking, and I guess we can accommodate this one question. So he's asking, how does the CDP track return customers? So Rashmi, would you like to answer?
Yes. Can you try to explain that, Pawan? I mean, I'm not like I'm kind of seeing two questions there. So what exactly do you have in mind about it?
I am not sure if Pawan, because he's a guest, he would be able to speak,
I
or
see.
I do
Okay.
not
I
see.
recently enable him so he can unmute.
Okay, okay, all
Yeah.
right. Pawan, you there with us? Maybe he's just trying to understand. Like, I remember that you mentioned any new person visiting the website is a visitor, and after the user has after the system gains any what do you say, any relevant information about the visitor, it becomes a customer. Now after
Correct.
the customer visits the portal or the website, like, again, so I'm thinking more or less he wants to understand that how it is being tracked. Is it using some identifier like an email ID that the customer is returning? So I guess his question comes from there.
Okay, so let's. I think so. There is something which is called a client ID. So if you look under the inspector over here, kids are leaving for school. So yeah, so if you look in the where was I? Let me get this out more. Okay, let's just refresh this page for a minute. So two things, right? One is the point of sale itself, wherein your application made a connection to CDP, and every one of these events that you are using to talk to CDP. So although, like I said, this is box-ever code, because that's the reason it's a pretty old, I've not changed much in the application itself, but I have just used the CDP and personalized end of things to, enable the experiences. So this code over here, so here's where that API call is done, which has information. That's your browser. This is your client key. So every time you make from your application, you make a call to CDP. Now we use the new Engage SDK to do the same thing. This is so different APIs are there now. We got like Engage SDK itself, and then there are personalized APIs, and we do have the Stream API. So using the Stream API, any of the API calls that you want to do, you can make the call. But every time this is the package that you need to send. Browser ID is automatic, of course, but point of sale and the client ID. So based on this, it makes the connection that the application is, and obviously, like I said, that identifier is available, and on the CDP end, my email ID was one of the identifiers. So whenever I identify myself, like I did over here, with the same email ID. I identified myself with the same email ID, and I can change, like for instance, I want to use some custom organization ID. So I can change that ID provider to that and then provide the value. So, but at the CDP end of things, whenever, since I'm using the identifier object as well as the same identifier, it will merge the records and keep it as one single impression of the customer. So you will not see multiple instances of myself being created. We used to see that a lot on the XP, because there we didn't have an automatic. We used to use tracking, and then we had to do merging of contacts and all that, which was a process. But here it happens automatically under the hood, where CDP merges your entire customer records and all the identifiers into one single entity. So that's why, but these two are the keys to do that. So that's the reason security is of utmost importance, because as you can see, anybody can see this key, right? I mean, I can write a script right here on the browser to break this if there was anything super financial or anything going on. But the more you go down the use cases, that's when you cannot do this with the Stream API anymore. I mean, this is like a silly experience where it's not really pretty, I mean, sensitive to customer data. But if you have, wherever you are involving with customer data, you better use batch. I mean, basically, like the application end of things, and under API calls have to be protected at that point. So again, read my blog. So this kind of explained more details into that, how that whole security can be is of importance and what can be done about it.
Rashmi, I've
All right.
heard, now that you said that, read your blog, that reminded me that can you paste those links in the chat for our attendees to quickly copy and make a note of them? Because not sure how much it would be available through the recording that we would be posting. So yeah, all
Definitely.
right. And I hope Pawan, Rashmi answered your question. And I do not see any more questions, so I guess that's it in the Q&A. And anybody, if you have any more questions, I'm sure that if you reach out to Rashmi on LinkedIn or on any other platform that you're connected with her, she would be happy to answer those questions. Now we
Definitely.
come to
Yeah.
the all right. So now we come to the end of the session. So the thank yous and SUG Nagpur would like to thank Rashmi for sharing your expertise with all of us, and to the attendees for sparing some time from your busy schedules to join our session and show us your support. Thank you so much. And a very big thank you to Profession for supporting our event. Please note that the recording of this session will be uploaded to YouTube. So if you want to revisit this conversation or this discussion, and if you know somebody who would need this, who would find this information useful, you can share the link with them. Please keep an eye on LinkedIn. We will be sharing the link there soon. This event has set now just one line, that this event has set the foundation for future engagements for our user group, Sitecore User Group Nagpur, and we look forward to building on this foundation and bringing many more enriching and insightful sessions to the community. So see you all next time. Bye bye.
Yep. Looking forward to see you all. Yep.